All right, everybody, here we go. Week 3, we're doing chocolate chip cookies. Again, we're keeping it pretty simple. We haven't worked with knives yet, so we're not gonna start cutting stuff until we get to work with knives. But let's make some chocolate chip cookies, all right? They're versatile, they're fantastic, they're good anytime, anywhere. Bring them to a party, make them for someone who did something nice for you. Chocolate chip cookies are amazing. Very first thing that you have to do anytime you're baking is preheat your oven. All right, we're going 350 degrees, pretty basic. I don't know how your ovens at home work, all right? I got a nice fun little double oven here. I've got a bottom and a top, so I can have 2 separate temps, but I'm just gonna work with the bottom here. So I'm gonna hit bake, go to 350, hit bake again, and now that's going. All right, so let's jump into our mise en place. All right, over here, we got 2 separate bowls because with most baking, we need a liquid and a dry bowl, all right, separate. We've got all of our measuring cups, measuring spoons, all of our ingredients together, our flour, sugar, brown sugar, chocolate chips, baking soda, butter, salt, and I've got a hand mixer. If you don't have a hand mixer, maybe you've got a stand mixer. If you don't have any of those, then maybe you've got something like this, just a rubber spatula. It works fine. I always recommend to try to get some sort of a mixer. These hand mixers, you could probably find them at like a garage sale for $5. It doesn't take a lot, especially when we're just making cookies, so let's jump into it. All right, first things first, we are going to cream together our butter and our 2 sugars. When we get into cooking methods, this is called the creaming method, and it's used when we need to cream together fat, and I'll show you what creaming is in just a moment, with our sugars. So we're going to take our bigger bowl, and it says ½ cup. Okay, again, when you're working with sticks, if you can see wherever the camera thingy there is, right here, it says ½ cup because this whole little stick here is a ½ cup. Takes the guesswork out of it. Boom, right in there. Now we're going to measure out our sugars. I haven't shown a lot with measuring yet how to measure, and we usually tackle that later on, but I'm gonna show you really quickly. When it comes to things like flour or sugar, all right, all you simply have to do, and it's a ½ cup of sugar, we're going to scoop that up and we're going to make sure it's a little over, what's called heaping. We're gonna give it a little shake, and we're going to use the edge of either a spatula, I've got a rubber scraper here, and we're just gonna kind of scrape the top. We're gonna move it back and then forward, because that makes sure that the entire ½ cup measurement gets filled up, right in there with our sugar. When it comes to something a little bit thicker, like brown sugar, we actually have to pack it in, because with like flour or regular granulated sugar, it fills in all the little spots, all the little holes, all the little air pockets, but brown sugar won't. So I'm actually going to use a spoon, and I'm going to scoop that into my ½ cup measure. Spill a little. And I'm gonna pack it in. I'm gonna press it down because that is how I get an accurate measurement when it comes to something really thick like brown sugar. And again, I'm gonna keep packing until I get it a little bit above, and then I can do something similar where I just kind of scrape the top off. And now I've got a nice accurate ½ cup. I know that this is accurate if after I pack it in nice and tight, all right, it covers the whole thing. After I turn it out, it should be kind of like a sandcastle. So now I've got my ½ cup of brown sugar, ½ cup of granulated sugar, and my butter in there. I'm gonna go ahead and blend that. This is called creaming. It's where you blend together your fats and your sugars. So right in there, and we'll go to town. Just keeping it on a nice low setting to start with because I don't want everything to go flying out. now with this mixture, I really can't overmix it. I'm going to continue to mix and mix and mix this until it comes together really nicely, and honestly until it starts to kind of fluff up a little bit. Let's get a nice close-up view. So this is where we're at. This is what it should be looking like. We're going to give it a little bit more than this. Okay, that last little step in there where you lift it up off of the food, spin it a little bit. But keep it in the bowl because that'll help to get all of the stuff off the sides of the little beaters here. Next, so this is going to be our wet bowl. This is where we're going to add the rest of our wet ingredients like our egg. There we go. We're also going to add our vanilla to this. For that I need 2 hands, so I'm going to go set this down. So here I've got vanilla. Vanilla ranges in price. If you buy real vanilla, it's very, very expensive. For cookies, I fully recommend just using an imitation vanilla. So we need 1 teaspoon. All right, I got 1 teaspoon going right here. I'm gonna measure away from my bowl because honestly, I would rather spill this a little bit off to the side. There we go. Then spill a whole bunch into my cookies, because that'll ruin my batch of cookies and I will have wasted that vanilla regardless. So always try to measure away from what you're cooking. Got egg on my hands, sticky hands. And that's all of my wet ingredients. So now I'm gonna go ahead and mix this. Again, lift that blender, that hand mixer up a little bit, turn it on, you get all those little pieces flying off. So now we've got all of our liquids basically all together. Now we're going to put our dry together. So here's my separate bowl. I need 1.5 cups of flour. So I've got my 1.5. I need 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. I need 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then we're gonna deal with our chocolate chip at the end. So again, when measuring flour, I'm gonna take 1 big heaping scoop because I need 1 full cup. I'm gonna tap that down a little bit, go backwards and then forward. And that gives me a really nice, accurate measurement. And now I need to do the same thing with my 1/2 cup because it is 1.5 cups. Tap it back, slide it forward. There we go. 1.5 cups of flour. Now I've got my baking soda. With that, I need 1/2 teaspoon. I'm going to use my 1 teaspoon measure and just do half of it. All right, so I got about half right there. Eyeball it a little bit. And then same thing with my salt. I've got 1 teaspoon. I'll fill it up about halfway. If you have a 1/2 teaspoon, which I do, I don't need to make more and more things messy because I do the dishes, so I get to decide. If you've got a 1/2 teaspoon, then use that. I'm just gonna gently mix this Don't need to go too crazy with it. Now I've got my bowl of dry. I can set these guys off to the side because I'm all done with that. And I've got my bowl of wet. And now I need to combine the two. Now here's where you want to just mix a little bit, because you can overmix your cookies at this point and make them tough. And no one wants tough cookies. So I'm going to take my dry right there into my wet. Grab my hand mixer again and just gently. Okay, and that's all the more that I'm going to mix them with my hand mixer. From here, all right, these, again, we talked a little bit with the Rice Krispie treats on how to get siblings out of your face. You can hand them these, but warning, you know, don't eat raw cookie dough because of salmonella. You know, I have to say that, but I think most of us have been eating cookie dough for a very long time. But shh, don't eat raw cookie dough, I guess. From here, I'm gonna take my rubber scraper. I'm gonna scrape the sides really well because we've got all that flour still sitting on the side of the bowl, and I wanna make sure all that gets incorporated. And I'm going to, from here, fold in my chocolate chips. Because if I put my chocolate chips in, and then I grab my hand mixer and I go to town with that, it's going to break the chocolate chips up. And you're gonna have just like chocolate streaks throughout it. So I'm just going to simply fold. I'm gonna gently fold in my chocolate chips. I don't really need to mix this anymore because everything is mixed and incorporated and happy. Okay, so there we go. This is our chocolate chip cookie dough. From here we need to work with our baking sheet. I've got my handy dandy spray. Give this just a nice simple coat. Now there's multiple ways that we can portion this out. If you've got things like these, they're kind of like ice cream scoops, but they're called portion scoops. It's for portioning this kind of thing out because I can get a really nice accurate portion each and every time. You can also just simply use a spoon. All right, just grab a spoonful of it, give it a little scrape on the side, and then right in there. Okay, either of those works. Make sure you leave room for them to spread. So I'm just gonna go 2 on each row. These are kind of little baby cookies. They're not gonna take long to cook. It seems like it's less calories because I'm eating smaller cookies. Granted, I'm probably going to eat more of them, but you know. With this portion scoop, I scoop up some and then I scrape it off on the side and then right in there. Scoop it up, scrape it on the side because I want these cookies to cook evenly. And if I've got, you know, a giant cookie sitting right here and I've got some other smaller cookies sitting over here, this one is going to take a lot longer to cook than this one. This one's going to get, you know, burnt and crumbly and dry and gross by the time this one's probably still a little bit undercooked. So that's not what we want, obviously. Boop. Right on there. Right in there. And we're going to keep going. And now, depending on your oven, depending on your cookies, depending on what you're cooking them on, that all makes a difference in how long this takes to cook. The recipe says 6 to 9 minutes. You just need to make sure you keep eyeballs on them. These are very, very small cookies, so they will not take long to cook at all. I'm going to rotate it halfway through, so I'm probably going to cook these for about 4 minutes, and then rotate it and kind of judge from there how much longer I need to cook them. I always like to pull my cookies out a little bit early, just because I like slightly underdone cookies. I like them nice and gooey and soft on the inside. If you like your cookies a little harder, then make sure to cook them for the full time. After I pull these out, they will continue to cook for a little bit. It's called carryover cooking. So after you put them in, keep eyeballs on them, rotate them halfway through, and then pull them out when they're done. I'm gonna set them on a cooling rack so that they can properly cool, and then I can reuse this to put more cookies in. But that's pretty much the basics of our chocolate chip cookies. So try them out, make cookies, send me pictures. All right, email me, send me a video of you making cookies. Doesn't take too long. Again, it's all in your mise en place. It's all in your prep work. So make sure you got that going. Let's go ahead and throw these in the oven. These are my little baby cookies. Nope. Yep. Right in my dirty oven. No, it's an oven. It's an oven. It's not like I took the prep work time to clean it, right? So, I'll probably take some pictures of my finished cookies just so you can see what they look like. But otherwise, you know, our recipe. All right, this is up in Canvas. So go to town, make a bunch of cookies. Double the recipe, all right? Easily doubled. A half plus a half is a whole, right? So 1 full cup of butter, 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of brown sugar. If you're doubling 1 egg, I don't know, I'm not a mathematician, but I bet you could figure that out. 1 teaspoon times 2. Last I checked was 2 teaspoons, all right? It's easy. This is all halves and wholes. So, you know, you guys are high school kids. You can figure out how to double things. That's it. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing everybody later. Bye-bye.